Hello, Timo, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Yes, I do hear you. On Instagram, I think. We also are on Zoom for the YouTube channel. So it's always a little bit of a technical setup, but I think we are set.
Oh. So today it's very interesting day because we have the moon in Libra, right? And it's about to conjunct the South Node. Recently, the Karmic Nodes changed. Actually, this just happened last week. And now we are entering into new learnings for the next 18 months. And these new learnings have to do with the axis of Aries Libra. It's about you and the other, right? And our partner, our business partner, our romantic partner. And this South Node in Libra is karmic depuration, telling us, hey, you must stop maybe being a people pleaser. You must choose yourself. You must learn to trust yourself, your intuition. And today the Libra moon wants us to be in partner, with someone else. But the South Node probably is showing us like there's purification to do because we have also Pluto squaring the South Node. The Sun is squaring the South Node. So it's like we need to purify some sort of maybe dynamics in our relationships. And Timo, today I was also realizing that the South Node is not so karmic. I mean, it's karmic, but we also receive blessings from the South Node. We receive gifts because we have been working on this. So actually today is a day in which people can suddenly get business opportunities or relationship opportunities. And obviously they are karmic. They bring teachings, learnings, but we can also receive blessings from the South Node. What do you think?
Definitely. Well, today I wanna make it a little bit personal because I feel today very much personally affected by these transits, and hearing astrologers talk about their own personal stories always inspires me, and it's just a very direct way to learn about astrology. So my sun is on 25 degrees of Libra, so the moon is going over my sun today, and the South Node is going over my sun in the following months. And yeah, what you say is totally right. Today, what I felt as well is a lot of the doubts coming to the surface. The Libra always want to weigh and wants to. Oh, it's always about choices, and especially because of that South Node, which is also kind of like the shadow part, if you will. It's where we're coming from. It's our comfort zone, but it's also our karma, those things that we still have to work on. And that moon is that body in the sky that is always changing and is always transforming. So it's always in flux, so to speak. So I definitely feel a lot of that energy coming to the surface. For me, I felt today a lot of old feelings of insecurity and of unworthiness. And it's also something that I'm very aware of. If I take a look at the other side of the zodiac, we have Aries and we've got Chiron there. So these kind of things, they come to the surface and they feel like old material, but it's also something that we can be aware of. It's not something that has us totally in our grip again. That brings me also to the squares to the Sun and Pluto, but I'll leave it for the moon and the moon and the South Node are definitely making a big impact on my life today.
Yeah, it's true what you say. The moon conjuncted South Node is like what moonish part of ourselves we must let go, right? And this moonish is like this wishy-washy energy. It's like this doubting, this, oh, I'm feeling like that, so I will do, it's like the North Node in Aries definitely asks us to be more decisive. You know, Aries is decisive. Aries don't think twice. It just go with the intuition, with the impulse. It doesn't even think about it. You know, I have a lot of Aries energy. It's like, I just do things, you know, it's just coming, you know, it's like constantly birthing things because you don't think. And Libra is the opposite, right? Libra is pondering always this or that. I want balance. I want harmony. So maybe let's analyze this a bit longer and longer. Maybe ask someone else for some advice. So maybe you are like also feeling this. And I also get what you said about unworthiness, because I was born with the sun conjuncting the South Node. So this transit that you have for a few months, I have for a whole life. And
Wow.
yeah, and actually it's really good for enlightenment, for people who want to enlighten, because it's asking us to let go of our ego. You know, South Node sun is like, sun is your ego, South Node is like, let go of your ego. And also brings a lot of birth and rebirth. It's like transforming energy. So beautiful what you said also about Chiron, because it's true, I was not looking at Chiron, but we are healing a lot here. We have Pluto killing us, then we have Chiron healing us, and then we have a lot of Uranian energy. We have Mercury, Venus, and Lilith squaring Uranus. So it's like, I kill you, I heal you, and I free you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole death and rebirth process. And also, just to come back to the Libra South Node thing, the insecurity thing is where Aries is, like the Aries North Node energy is really about just like believing in yourself and trusting yourself, and like almost the shadow side would be egoistic, but there is a very healing and very, very light side about that. And the shadow side of the South Node in Libra would be constantly comparing yourself with other people. And that's for me also very linked to that sense of insecurity. It's always looking out, thinking what other people think about you, and then realizing like, oh, I'm doing this, and then you can journal about it, and then you can become aware of it, because that is what this Sun Pluto opposition also wants to do, wants to shed light into that darkness, to reveal what is living in the shadow. So it's I think like we're in a cardinal, a grand cardinal cross, and I believe it's the same for planets that we had with the last fixed cross, right? Wasn't that also a Sun Pluto squaring the nodes? Do you remember that?
Yes. Pluto has been super active the whole year. It's just crazy. Yeah,
and we're having the Pluto transit, of course, into Aquarius coming up in a few months again.
Yeah, because Pluto has been retrograding, so it's like coming back to these squares. And yeah, actually, Pluto in Capricorn is about, we are finishing a time here, the Kali Yuga, right? We are finishing an age, and now we are in the galactic sunrise. So the galactic sunrise is the coming of the golden age, but now we are at 12 midnight of this galactic sunrise. So we are still very dark, you know, in this Kali Yuga, but it's coming to an end. And Pluto in Capricorn is showing us we are ending a way of perceiving our reality, of organizing ourselves, of our society. Everything is transforming and very fast. This year went so fast, oh my God, because Uranus has been so fast, also so active all the year. So Uranus is like, hey, I'm bringing the new frequency, I'm bringing the golden age. It's painful, Pluto is always very painful, but don't worry, you know, I'm bringing this lightness, this new frequency. So I'm happy they are both very active. Pluto is only active. Without Uranus, it will be very heavy, you know, this feeling of death.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about Uranus, there are some very big shifts going on. I would recommend to read the book Cosmos and Psyche if you are very interested into like diving deep into those long-term like collective time waves, because we just came out of Pluto Uranus square, which lasted for like a very long time, I think since 2007. But the orbs are very wide. This is by Richard Tarnas, is an astrologer that studied these long-term shifts. And the Uranus-Pluto opposition squares and conjunctions always take place with big, like the hippie movement, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. There's always these big shifts going on. So we're just coming out of that. And now we're moving into a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction over the following 14, 13 months left. And that's going to be about big innovations. The first airplane flight by the Wright brothers was around this time. We discovered that the planets were moving around the sun around a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time in that sense as well, if we zoom out a little bit to see where technology is going, for instance, with AI or with space flight. And especially with these transits, now we have this Uranus squaring Mercury. That really brings it down to the personal and to also this deep transformational process with Sun, Pluto, and the nodes, and then this square with Uranus and Mercury, creating a little bit of a nervous mind energy. Also, that square is not necessarily linked. Oh yeah, there's a sextile, see, but it's a very different energy. So I feel like there's this deep process going on under the surface, in the undercurrents. And then there is the mind that can be a little bit, like Uranus can also be a little bit detached from the body. And like we can have all these thoughts, and we can have we can think what people think about us and have all these thoughts, and that might have nothing to do with what's really going on under the ground in the realm of Pluto.
Oh, this is interesting that you mentioned that. I never thought about this in such a way. For me, I feel like this Mercury squaring Uranus, of course, is true. It can be of grounding, right? Ungrounding. But also can bring like this higher mind, this channeling, this getting messages, and that's why
Definitely,
we need more grounding. But also for me, when I get a lot of Uranian energy, I cannot grasp my thoughts. So for people who are obsessive, for example, and they are thinking and rethinking the same thing, Uranus come and it's like it frees your mind. It frees you from obsessions, from repetitive thoughts. So it's kind of a relief. Yeah, it's like I just
that's
cannot...
a beautiful way to see it as well. I think it's like it could be both, depending on the person, and indeed, like they this is a beautiful way in how Uranus can be the medicine to its own shadow in the realm of the mind, in the mercurial.
Yeah, but definitely it's true. It can be of grounding, and many people could be affected in their nervous system. Yes.
Yeah.
Lately, I have gotten many messages of people saying, "Hey, my heart, I feel I cannot breathe." And even myself, I feel it. I feel it from the 7-7 gateway. I feel we are opening our heart, and in this heart expansion, we are seeing the truth. It's like veils are falling off. But obviously, when you expand your heart, you can get this overexcitement, and you can get fear, and also you can get many fears right now, because Pluto is the one who brings fear, and Pluto is super active right now, squaring the nodes, opposing the sun. So, and people cannot even process. It's like, why I'm feeling this, and it's like, why? Because we are purifying the fear in a collective level, because the karmic nodes is collective cleansing, collective purification. So we are collectively purifying fear, Pluto. So it's normal people feel this anxiety, and I think the key is Tauro, right? The Jupiter in Tauro, because Jupiter is the one who is gonna always like give us, the Yeah, he's gonna whole our energy. He's the one who brings blessings. He's gonna support us. I don't want to say save us, but he's gonna bring us the goodness. And Jupiter in Taurus is telling us, hey, come back to the earth, connect with the plants, with the animals, with your body, because this energy is very ungrounded, the Uranian energy, and there's a lot of fear in the air to be
Yeah.
released.
I've definitely felt within myself and also in people around me that the processes that are going on right now are so deep, and so like there's so much oppositions and like harshness, and but in the meanwhile Jupiter is still like in Taurus doing its like slow thing, just like making the garden. And because of these deep things, it can be very, you can almost forget that you're actually growing. It's maybe taking a long time. It's natural growth. So also because of this, Uranus might want to see things change very quickly, and there might be bursts of changes. But also there is a very long process of growth going on, and everything that is happening with with Pluto and the nodes is also contributing to that longer growth cycle of Jupiter and Taurus. And it's good to remind ourselves of that simplicity, and to say the mantra, this too shall pass, which already gives this energy of like zooming out and seeing the bigger picture, which makes it so much easier to surrender to Pluto's kill shots or struggle, like strangling.
Yeah. Wow, so
It's almost
interesting
like
what
being
you
under the
said.
water. It's almost like being under the water and being afraid of suffocation. And then at the moment you realize that you can actually breathe underwater, and it's like, oh yeah, it's safe. And that's kind of like a process of death as well.
This is so deep, and the words you are using to describe this, because it's true, Pluto suffocates us. For me, the Plutonian process, many people talk that it's like an atomic bomb inside your stomach or your intestines. It's like, it's from inside. But for me, the Plutonian process is also like a anaconda, you know, like a big snake around me, and I feel suffocated, right? It's like something really beautiful. And yeah, it's like a temptation. It's attractive, like a snake, but it can truly suffocate you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
it's
sun
going through the
opposing.
birth channel, is it?
Yeah.
Going through the birth channel, so much pressure, and you have to push yourself through. There's a lot of suffocation there.
The vagina.
Yeah, I'm reading also about Stan Grof is a transpersonal psychologist who worked with astrology as well, and he links Pluto to the moment that you are being pushed through the birth channel, where being in the womb is the realm of Neptune, and then the uterine walls are pressing against you, which is Saturn. Then you go through the Plutonian process of death and rebirth, and then you have the Uranian birth and the liberation. So that strangling, that suffocation is very much part of Pluto's work. Yeah.
It's true. At the beginning, we cannot breathe, and we need to learn to breathe in the air instead of inside the womb, right? And I'm sure babies have DMT release, because it must be super crazy to suddenly breathe in the air. It's like, oh, fractal colors.
It's the most intense experience of your life. And it starts with that.
Life is intense. Wow.
Still, we keep doing it again and again.
Yeah, we love it. So there's something else we can talk about, the finger of Jod. You know about this? The finger of Jod is a figure that appears in the sky. And this finger of God or Jod is Venus. Venus is in the top, in the appendix. And then we have here Neptune, and here we have Pluto. So there's like a finger, the finger of God. So this figure is, wow, it happens sometimes and it brings so many insights and blessings somehow. So even though, you know, for example, now we have retrograde Venus in Leo, and Venus is also the ruler of the South Node, you know, so we obviously are learning a lot about love, buying, selling, relationships, like beauty, like we are learning so much. And it's karma, you know, it's the purification, it's releasing, because Venus is the ruler of the South Node in Libra. But even though it's retrograde also, and we are revisiting all stories, and it's like, oh my God, I thought I already moved on, and suddenly this again, you know, oh, I cannot believe this, right? So there's a lot of, but because of this figure, the God finger, we get some blessings. So the blessings here are Venus connecting with Neptune and Pluto. So on one side, we can really connect with our heart chakra, because Venus in Leo is the heart, and feel, what do I truly want? You know, Neptune is like your ideal way of loving. How I could love more spiritually? How could I love in a more aligned way? You know, I don't think that Venus is not connecting with, well, yeah, I repeat. So Venus with Neptune, it's like reminding us of this actually Tantra, right? And spiritual connections and a spiritual way of loving, and also in between our friendships. And then we have Venus with Pluto in a good aspect, is a God finger saying, hey, you know, your Venus has to die. You know, you need to let go of this part of yourself that was allowing into your field things that were not spiritually aligned, that were not connected with the heart chakra, that were not truly connected with the like the heart center, the vibration of the heart. And most of the population in the planet, they start relationships coming from the sacral chakra, right? Initiating from there, and then they value the relationship, they go to the third chakra, the solar plexus. Then after valuing the relationship, they start loving, and then after loving, they start expressing their love, and then if they can, they start connecting more here and here. But you know, this Venus being the finger of God right now is telling us, hey guys, you know, this is not the way. We need to reprogram this way of relating, and we need to start from here, the Neptune energies. Like we need to start from the intuition, from the really what you want ideally, and then coming down to the rest of the chakras.
Yeah, you're actually talking about the two phases of Venus in ancient Greek, the Aphrodite Urania and Aphrodite Pandemos. And I don't have the actual creation myths by heart, but I know that also Venus was born out of Uranus when he was castrated by his son Saturn, or Kronos. And then Uranus' last seed fell into the sea, the realm of Neptune, and out of there she was born as this beautiful goddess of beauty. But there are two kinds of beauty. We have the carnal beauty of the pandemos, the everyday people, and also Tantra was the spiritual teaching for the everyday people. For if you were married, if you have a family, if you did not have the opportunity to live a separated, isolated, ascetic life, you could still walk a spiritual path with your partner in the incarnated form. And that gives us the carnal pleasures, the sacral chakra, and moving from the ground up to the heavens. And that kind of beauty is much more sensual and sexual and much more animalistic. Also kind of like the South Node energy, I would say, where we're coming from. And then we have Aphrodite Urania, which is about heavenly beauty, about, yeah, like you say, the moving from up to down, the descending from the causal planes. And that's in this timeline where we're going to, but of course it's also where we're coming from, because we come from source, and it's something that is already in our hearts. We've never been separated from it, and that's also what Neptune wants us to know. You've never been separated from the ocean of source. You've always been in it, and it's just about realizing that nature. And these Plutonian cycles, they allow us to realize, because they clean all these filters and these shadows that we have grown to be able to live this human or animalistic life.
Yes. Yes, I did a reel also about the 4 phases we are going to experience during this Venus retrograde, because we are going to start now with Persephone, transforming a lot our way of connecting with love, also because of this aspect with Pluto, right? Like really transforming, realizing, fuck, I need to let go of these layers of density, all these stories, because we tend to keep repeating the same stories. We even talk about the stories, and and then we will go, Venus will go under the horizon, so we won't see Venus in the sky. It will go invisible. And in those moments at the beginning of August, we are going to go dark, very Lilith. So it's gonna like, like maybe people really having situations in love and relating, like really facing the truth. Because for me, Lilith she's a carrier of truth, raw truth, raw and rude. So
yeah, and original, because she was there before Eva. She was the original spouse of Adam.
And then after that, she will turn into Eve when we have the Sun-Venus conjunction, which is the Venus star point. And this Sun-Venus conjunction, the last time it happened in the sign of Leo, it was in 2015, 8 years ago. 8 years are the cycles of Venus. So in 2015, what were you doing? Like, how were you perceiving yourself in love, in relationships, in money? How was your situation? Is it repeating right now? It's coming to a completion of our learning, and then for me also this Venus star point, of course, is a moment of intentions, right? The conjunctions are always a reset. And here we must connect with our heart chakra, Venus in Leo, and really put the intentions out there. Like, this is the way I want to be loved. I'm not going to go for less. I'm not going to lie myself. And I'm going, this is what I want. This is my intention. Do a prayer. It's a day for prayer, the 13th of August. And then after that, the Venus is gonna start getting some light, coming up again from the darkness to the horizon of the heaven, the sky, and she will turn into Aphrodite. So by the end of August, and this Aphrodite, she's owning it. She's like, this is who am I. I'm money, I'm beauty, I'm love, I'm everything.
And that's where the royal energies of Leo also come into place. And this is all about treating yourself as a king or a queen, to really give yourself what you deserve, to crown yourself, and to take your love life serious, to treat it like an empire, and to be very responsible for it as well. And this leadership energy in leading from the heart.
So interesting, because we are both Leo Venus, so we can talk from. You are Leo Venus, right? Or
no?
I'm
a Virgo Venus, but my star point. So you're always born right after a star point, and for me that's the Leo Venus star point. Okay. So, which is kind of like this 8-year cycle is kind of like the longer Venus cycle. Especially when you're born close to a Venus Sun conjunction, then it's gonna make a big impact. And I'm Leo rising, so
we're both Leo rising. So for me, Venus is going from my 12th house to the first house. Now it's in the first house. But yeah, it's also interesting what you said about queens and kings. My nakshatra is in Vedic astrology. So there's like different, it depends on the day, you get like more nuances of this. And I was born under the nakshatra of Maga. And Maga is the queens and the kings and the ancestors.
Oh.
So it's like this kinship come from acknowledging your royal ancestry.
Yeah. I haven't really studied the nakshatra or any other Vedic technique yet, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. Yeah. Then you have dashas, so they are like for 5 years you are under a dasha. Like for example, now I'm under the moon dasha, and actually it explains a lot of things. You know, it's good. Yeah, of course I love Western astrology, but Vedic it's also wow, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. We're also having a Mars still a little bit in effect. Mars opposing Saturn.
Yeah. And Venus, right? Venus is still.
No, Mars in Virgo opposing Saturn in Pisces. We're coming out of that, but it's still in 3 degrees orbit. But this one I felt also like this restriction, like pulling the brake and hitting the gas pedal at the same time kind of energy. Like Mars just wants to like go, and Saturn there's always something like road blockages here in Ubud. This kind of energy has also been present, but it's slowly coming out of effect. Also because Saturn is opposing my natal Venus, so depending on what kind of planets you have in 6 degrees of the mutable signs, it can be a pretty harsh effect as well.
But you know, Saturn is also right now opposing Venus. It's separative, but it's 7 degrees. Here, most of the people, you know, give 10 degrees of accountability. So we are all feeling this Mars, Venus opposing to Saturn. But I'm really happy about this because, you know, Venus in Leo, she just wants to love. You know, Venus in love, Leo is like, who wants my love? Who? Come here, Mama loves you. And Saturn in Pisces is like, no, girl, no, calm down. You know, don't go with the flow. Don't go with the, you know, slow down. Saturn rules time, right? So Saturn is like, slow down. You know, slowly is better. Take time to get to know the person or to because with the North Node in Aries also we can be a bit impulsive, and also Venus in Leo is in a trine with the North Node in Aries, so we have a lot of fire. Actually, we want to start things following our heart, but this Saturn in Pisces I think is very grounding. It's like a slow down, and also it's asking you, is there a spiritual connection? Because Saturn in
Pisces. Yeah, and it's as the father figure that Saturn is, like if it would be in its own domicile sign, it would be much more like the annoying father. But now it's really this forgiving, spiritual, responsible father that, like, also it's the sign of exaltation for Venus. So like their Venus can actually appreciate this kind of father figure, and it can be also really like showing the bigger picture. Why, especially I think this is gonna be more present when Venus is gonna go to Virgo, because then there's actual like a sign-based opposition, and then this opposing energy can be a little bit more experiential for the mundane, I think. But yeah, Saturn in Pisces can also relate to the emotions of Venus, and can bring those emotions down, which sometimes can be like not so nice when you're in this Venus Leo high in life, and then Saturn comes with this more like melancholic energy but it's really showing his love in that way, and like showing the bigger picture where Venus can actually appreciate that kind of guidance. I've got little cats scratching some boxes here. So
yeah, this is really deep.
Some Leo energy here.
In Vedic astrology, actually, Venus and Saturn, they are enemies in Vedic astrology. So it's like they don't get along. Because Venus wants to show off, you know, Venus wants to be the center of attention. Venus knows that she's the, you know, the mamita. And Saturn is like, no, limit yourself, ground yourself.
Yeah.
And I would like also to talk about what you said about Mars, because this Mars in Virgo wants to organize everything, right? Wants to organize everything, be on time, details. And I feel Saturn in Pisces, okay, can be limiting, but also can feel a bit like, you know, there's a deeper trust in destiny, in the flow, in the divine flow. Saturn in Pisces is reminding Mars, hey, you know, there are some divine rules, destiny, if we can call it like that, and you can trust in the divine flow, in the divine ocean. The flow is also going to take you there. You don't need to organize everything from the mind, because Virgo is the mind, and Mars in Virgo is organizing from the mind, whereas Saturn is also organization. Saturn is organization, but it's from the ocean of consciousness, right? It's from the depth of the ocean. So it's different kinds of organizing, and we must, when there's opposition, we must place ourselves in the middle. Okay, I can try to organize as much as I can with my limited mind that cannot see in the future. From here, I can try to organize, but I must also get some space free for the magic of life, for the magic of the divine flow of the reality, because Saturn in Pisces is going to bring us a lot of magic and synchronicities and serendipities.
Yeah, I love the synchronicity. That's really Saturn in Pisces, the time and the divine timing.
Divine timing. Wow, yes, Astro Report is divine timing.
Yeah. Mars in Virgo, the shadow side could be like very, very aggressive thoughts, or like overly focusing on certain things, where it becomes something that becomes like hard on your nervous system. And then the sadness can be very relieving, because this can bring you down into the parasympathetic nervous system, rather than staying in that like heightened state of awareness where you think you need to think about everything, and everything needs to be perfect. And then at some point you reach a wall, like a Saturnian limitation, because things cannot be perfect. And that's when Saturn can bring in the emotions and the sadness, and the cooling down is like an extinguisher.
Wow. Yeah, this is so interesting. Like, for example, for me now, I'm organizing my tour on Europe, you know, and it's like I'm trying to organize the countries, the places where I'm going to offer healing. I have so many Virgo planets, but then I cannot, you know, there's a voice here that says Saturn in Pisces, you know, trust in the divine flow, you know. So, wow. It's just, and I'm sure many of you feel the same, you know, trying to organize something, but at the same time, it's like, no, you must allow also this divine timing, this divine magic, this divine flow to happen.
Yeah. Astrology teaches us that we cannot know everything and think about everything, but being in the moment is always a good idea, because that creates this sense of surrender to what is. I've definitely felt that as well. I was in Europe for a month, and I'm already back in Bali for a little bit more than a week. And this Mars in Virgo energy really wanted me to make videos again on Instagram. I really felt these thoughts going through my mind, and also a bit of this judgment about myself. And it's about divine timing, because it's like sometimes you really want something, but what really wants to happen is eventually what you need, and eventually also what you want. But sometimes you cannot know this in when you zoom in too much on the detail of what you think you need to do.
Yeah, so interesting, because it's true what you said also about Mars in Virgo. I have a lot of Virgo energy, and I remember when I was younger, you know, and I was not meditating or doing a spiritual practice, my mind was crazy, so negative. I was always thinking twisted, you know, this is the fucking
Yeah.
Virgo energy. But luckily, after meditation, I have a guru in India, I do my mantras, you know, and cleansing the mind. Luckily now, most of the day, I'm like, "Pee, there's nothing here." And if something appears, I just started speaking in light language. So, you know, it's gone. So this allows me to be in the present moment. Otherwise, all the other Virgos I have in my life, people that I know, wow, they're very negative, you know, their mind, it's like so, because the Virgo mind, it's very analytical, you know, it's always seeing both sides. So they cannot enjoy the positive because they are also seeing the negative. It's like, yeah, this situation is good, bad. This person is good, bad. You know, it's like, wow, it's intense. So that's why we need this. And now Mars in Virgo, the ruler of Virgo is Mercury, and is squaring Neptune. So actually, squaring Uranus. So Uranus is asking us to open ourselves to the cosmic mind. Uranus is always the higher octave of Mercury, you know, it's the higher mind. So either you chant mantra, either you channel, either you meditate, but open yourself for the space in your mind. Otherwise, we can get very negative because of that, and because of Saturn. Always when we oppose Saturn, as you said before, melancholy can come, and also depression.
Yeah, what helps for me really is journaling, because your thoughts, putting your thoughts on paper, like Virgo is about zooming in, and your thoughts are in your mind. They're too close for you to actually understand what's going on. So if you put them on a paper, you can read them in front of you. That's going to create that Piscean zooming out and seeing the whole picture. And that's also going to, because Virgos like to journal, right? It's mercurial. It's actually a medicine. Virgo is all about medicines and about having all these little cabinets with different herbs and categories. So it wants to heal as well. It wants to heal. It's very earthy, but it also, because of its earthiness, sometimes it cannot see beyond the realm of the physical reality. And journaling can really help to create that that necessary duality in order to zoom out and see the bigger picture, and have this Uranian opening of the mind.
Wow. Yes, I don't journal, but I do reels every day explaining in my Spanish account. I do reels every day. For me, it's a way to ground the energy. And maybe it's also a way to put it in a beautiful way, because I have Mercury in Libra. So I need to put it in beautiful words, what I'm processing, what I'm feeling. Oh, yeah. So interesting. Also, I have a Jupiter in Gemini in the 10th house. So it's like a lot of communication. Now that I went viral, I was thinking why I went viral, because I have Jupiter conjuncting my midheaven. So it's like Jupiter is like, communicate.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a blessing to have this Jupiter energy right now, seriously, bringing us this deep connection with Mother Earth, deep connection with our bodies. Yeah, appreciating, you know, the pleasures of life in a more sacred way, and yeah, like bringing this sacredness to here and now.
Yeah.
And really tasting something, and like it's like wow.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It's going through my 10th house, and I've definitely feel like expanding in that realm, in that part of my life as well. Yeah.
So
yeah, wow.
we have talked so much. I think before we close, we can talk about our offerings, so people can know where to find us. Okay, so me, now I have a waiting list because I'm famous in all the Latin countries. So guys, there's a waiting list. But if people want to meet me one-on-one in person in Europe, I'm going to be in Austria, in Switzerland, in Greece, Barcelona, Portugal, Estonia, and Latvia. Actually, in Switzerland, I'm looking for a big space to do group healings. And in the rest of the countries, I have already people helping me and arranging things for me. Because with this Saturn in Pisces, it's a bit difficult to organize. But yeah, you can go to my profile, go into my link, and then there you can book one-on-one in-person sessions in Europe. Online, I'm also accepting, but I think there's kind of like 1 month waiting list or something like that. But yeah, if you want a session, better to do it, to book ASAP. Yeah, and soon I will do a new offering. It's the 8-8 gateway. I'm going to do 3 healing sessions online for the gateway with light codes, the new frequency, a lot of explanations, and vortex healing for the group. So this is coming up. People can also be part of my mailing list. You just go to my link on my profile and you are part of my mailing list. You will receive all the information. Okay, this is my now.
Amazing.
Timo, would you like to say something?
So yeah, I actually work as a sound healing facilitator most of my time in the physical realm in Bali, in Ubud at the pyramids of Chi. So if you happen to be in Bali, or if you are planning to go to Bali, definitely visit that place. Not only for my own sound healing sessions, but there are so many beautiful ceremonies, therapy modalities that you can explore there. It is a beautiful place in the middle of the rice fields where yeah, we have 3 beautiful pyramid spaces. So those spaces are loaded with energy, and I facilitate 2 different sound healing sessions there. One is called Ancient Sound Healing, which is a beautiful journey with using ancient instruments, gongs, I play the didgeridoo, lots of drums, singing. And the other one is called LSV, Light Sound Vibration, which is a more high-tech sound healing journey where you are lying on a waterbed and you feel the vibrations coming from the waterbed, making a very physical sense of sound. And also there is a light-induced brainwave entrainment. So this session is a bit more like psychedelic and deeper for those who want to take it a step further. So that is my offerings as a sound healing facilitator there at the Pyramids of Chi. Of course, I also offer astrology sessions, chart readings. I really love to do relationship astrology as a Libra, of course. Finding patterns in your life, your partner's life, and how your charts connect to each other. You can find me on Instagram, Star Soul Planet, and you can send me a DM for readings. Also, soon I will be posting there a little bit more. I was away for a few weeks. I'm also posting reels about the transit, but I also love to focus on astro poetry. My background is a musician, so my mind is very artistic, and playing with words in a poetic way really allows me to grasp the true meaning of the archetypes of the planets, because sometimes when we use the words, when we just use the keywords, it can remain a little bit surface level. And with poetry, the archetypes can become a little bit more alive and also more from a right brain perspective. Yeah, because poetry just goes a little bit deeper than just speaking about it. So those are my offerings.
Awesome. So we will also put this video in YouTube, so you can also find us there. We will share it in our stories. It's been a pleasure, Timo, to share with you. I always like your mind, how it works, your expression, the frequency. I love it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, same here. I really love connecting with you in this way, and it's always a surprise how we can expand and inspire each other to go into these different lanes. So I'm enjoying it as well.
Nice. So good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Mhm.